Tied up behind the net. Here's Richard going in on goal. Yes, he scores!
Hockey has been a significant part of my life for as long as I can remember. My mom was a hockey mom. My brother played from high school all the way into his college career. My dad grew up idolizing the greats like Gretzky, Pavlich, and Esposito, and even played internationally. I'm joined tonight by my father, Tim Camacho, to get his input on the hockey community. First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming out tonight. Can you give me a little background on your history with hockey?
My hockey experience started when I was 13 years old playing organized hockey. Before that I was playing pond hockey in New York, New Jersey, and street hockey every day with my friends. From there I went on to play in a competitive league when I moved to New Mexico. I got to travel to Southwest doing that. Once I get out of the military, my son was born, and I exposed him to the game, and I started coaching, and I coached over 13, 14 years. Once he was grown and on his own, I took up refereeing, and I got the opportunity to referee at the college club level. So yeah, that's my life in hockey.
Can you tell me a little bit about your international travels with hockey?
I actually got to play hockey in Singapore,
Wow.
in Asia one time. It was a great experience, and I was lucky enough to bring my skates all the way from home to Asia, and got to do it.
Here it comes! Stop, rebound, score! Bring it again!
What is your favorite part of the sport?
Just the speed of the game. It's a non-stop game. 3 20-minute periods. It's not like any other sport where there's a lot of stoppages and taking breaks and stuff like that. Hockey's just about speed, go, go, go all the time. You may get a 1 or 2 minute break depending on how many guys you have on your bench. But other than that, the game just continues. It's not like any other sport.
Yeah, definitely. Great. So, referee to referee, what are some examples of terminology that may not even be familiar to a player on the ice?
Well, refereeing has its own aspect of the game. It's totally different than playing the game. We use a lot of verbal and nonverbal communication. We can look at each other and tell what's going on throughout the game, what needs to be called. There's certain penalties and different things that need to be called during the game. Things like icing, and when a goal is scored, we point to the net. When a goal is accidentally put into the net, we wave it off, arms out. Elbowing, we have different signals for elbowing, or cross-checking, high sticking.
And are there any qualifications to become a referee? If so, are they rigorous? Like, how does that go?
It can be rigorous depending on where you start. Lower level hockey, you do take a course every year, an all-day course, 8-hour course. Focuses on the rules, regulations, and also your skating ability and positioning where you should be. As you grow in the sport, it can be more difficult because there's a lot more infractions that can take place, a lot more rules that need to be enforced, that type of stuff.
And is that in regard to, like, maybe the National League, or just as you progress as, like, in levels of refereeing?
You graduate into different levels. You start as a level 1, you can grow all the way to level 4. Level 4 is one of the highest levels you can get. Coaching college hockey, NHL refs, I'm not sure what their requirements are, but you better be pretty damn good.
And what level were you as a referee?
I refereed all high school level, some club college, and I did one game in the National American Hockey Association.
Other rappers claim that they do it up, okay, what's up, shut up. Come on and feel that, let's see y'all feel that.
Hockey barbaric or unregulated because of its almost normalization of fighting. How do you feel about that?
My feelings are that hockey is a very emotional sport, and I believe hockey, fighting needs to be incorporated into the game and stay in the game. It's been like that since day one. I think it needs to continue. Fighting can also be used several different ways in hockey. It's a very emotional sport, so it can actually spark your team if you're down a goal. When somebody gets in the fight, it may bring some more momentum to your teammates to try a little harder and get that extra goal. It can also be used as an enforcement tool. So if you have a star player on your team and he's being, let's say, picked on, or somebody's trying to hurt him, you send out a guy to what we call take care of business, and it sends a message that you will not, hurt one of our star players. So it's a very, very valuable tool in hockey.
Okay, and where do you lie on that as a coach or even a player?
Well, I don't want to say unfortunately it's not allowed in youth hockey, but my thinking is that it should be taught at the high school level, because if kids are going to progress to the next level, juniors, maybe college, there is fighting there, and if they don't learn how to do it correctly, then they won't be any good at it.
I think that's a pretty controversial take. Would you consider yourself an instigator?
Growing up, I was definitely an instigator. I'm only 5'6", which is pretty short in the hockey community, so I had to work double hard to play against the big boys. So anything I could do to distract another player, get under their skin, I would do it. So yeah, that was the kind of player I am.
So my final question is, what does hockey mean to you?
Hockey's just a way of life. It's always been a way of life for me. It's a way to release tension, stress. There's just something about being on the ice with the boys. You forget about the real world, and you're just playing hockey and having a good time.
That's great, that's great. Well, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I think we've gained some really valuable insight about hockey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, any final words or advice to anyone coming new into hockey?
Once you start, you're going to get hooked, and once you're hooked, never quit.
Modano tries to make the play. It's swept away by Schmelik. Let into the net. Hasek